It's like tunnels or portals of some kind. And I'm choosing which one to move through. I'm researching.
Which
I'm
portal
in
do you feel drawn to explore?
I'm in charge of the research on certain timelines. So there are all different ones, but there's one here on the left that's opening up for me to move through. So that's my next assignment.
And as you look through that portal, what do you see, feel, or know?
It's all color and vibration, so I move my energy into the center of it. It's multicolored. As I move into it, they sort of dissolve. I'm part of all of it, so I dissolve until I merge with this timeline, and I can pull through all the information and the codes and the knowledge, and then I bring it back. So it is as if I've visited there, but I don't need to physically visit. But this portal allows me to access all of the experience, the history, the unfoldings. It's all very quick, just it happens very quickly. I have a certain energy that allows me to do this. It's a skill that I've developed. So I'm bringing it back into um, some kind of Arcturian space. Oh, and I'm sending these signals to other parts of me, to other timelines. It's very efficient. It's a very efficient way of working. It's advanced technologies for the betterment of places and systems and planets.
And what sort of advanced technologies? What do you do when you look inside that portal?
We look for the trajectories that occurred that shift the overall trajectory. So all of the occurrences are linked. Everything is linked because everything is happening all at once. And so we look for the pivotal points on the timeline so that we can determine at which point the timeline split off into an alternate unfolding. And so depending on the outcome, when we wish to create a different timeline, we are able to detect the point at which the timelines split, and then we can determine the precise point in the history, so to speak, where it would be beneficial to go and affect change. And so it is very effective, and it creates the possibility of healing those timelines and creating alternate uh, outcomes, especially for those places that were on a trajectory of destruction, which would not be for the benefit of the universal energies. And so we are tasked with a very specific role, but it is all to do with healing. We do this so that we can initiate healing and growth. And this is our purpose here.
This one wanted to know especially about the AI timelines. What can you explore with her in regards to that? What can you show her
It's
about what
time
is
now for her
happening?
to, yes, it's time now for her to understand at a deeper level now, more direct level. She has already been being pulled into this area, and she feels this within her very deeply. And so she has chosen to be here, there, on the Earth timeline at this very particular time. This is a message that she shares many times with people because they are also doing the same, but she has perhaps not connected into it in as direct a way as she is now doing in this moment. And so she really has chosen a very specific point on Earth's trajectory. And the reason for this is through this experience with these technologies that we have. We have determined that the precise time on Earth's timeline to affect the greatest change would be the period that she is now in on the Earth. So as we are speaking, we remind that it is not linear. So to see it perhaps more as circular, past, present, future, all happening simultaneously in multiple trajectories. And so what she is doing is she is on a very specific timeline where this particular one she is on, there is a possibility for Earth to go into a very new direction. And so there have been other Earth timelines that she has also been a part of where she is aware that Earth has gone down alternate pathways where some of these pathways have been destructive, some of them have been very close to the eradication of the human species. And so she has been doing work on many parts of different timelines. This one now, where she is receiving this information, she is on the timeline where there is a great openness for the timeline to be moved into a very different direction. And so there is a tipping point, and this is why she chose to bring her mission in at this exact point to be uh, present on the planet for a certain period. So this is why her birth year was chosen very specifically, so that she would be born in a certain time, so that she would then exit at a certain time, and she would have a very specific role on the planet to assist with the timeline shifting into another direction. And so she has information contained within her of the other timelines. And so this is why she can recognize aspects of this. She recognizes aspects very easily, which come from the timelines that humanity were led into a very difficult and challenging trajectory, which was very damaging to humanity as a whole. And so this is why she recognizes certain echoes of this.
And humanity, as it's being pushed and pulled into different ways in regards to the AI. Can you tell her about that?
Yes, there are differences on the planet. There are different humans on the planet at different levels, and this is where it is not so easy because each human is operating at a very different level of consciousness. And so at the time you are in on this particular point on the timeline, humanity has not yet reached the point of understanding its true nature. And so because of this, there is a complete mixture of human reaction. There will be those humans who become entangled with AI and they merge with AI, giving up their genetic sovereignty. And there are those humans who will go into great fear and they will lower their frequency and they will cut themselves off even more. And then there are those humans who are somewhere perhaps in between, that they are still working it out, they are still deciding. And so there is a great availability to shift the trajectory because there are many who simply just need to be guided and reminded and, in some instances, educated and shown their true natures. And so she's very much here to do a number of things on her mission. In relation to the AI, it is to avert this timeline. This is what she is doing. But she also does this through the healing. She has skills of healing that she has brought in with her, and she is able to activate people. And so she has a lot of reasons that she is here. And so this is what she is doing. And she's doing it with great effect. She feels challenged sometimes because she feels that she is not doing enough or has not made a significant impact, but she is, and this will continue. Her impact will strengthen and it will become stronger throughout this timeline. So she feels this frustration because she knows she is here for impact, but it is okay. She is exactly where she needs to be.
And other ones that are merging the AI, are they the ones that could have taken medications that will be offered or some new developments that will occur?
Yes, there will be we will say a repeat because you, the Earth, have already experienced timelines where you were greatly deceived. And so there will be, again, those energies reoccurring on this timeline. And so you're already seeing this. And so there will be most likely those deceptions still moving through because the agenda there is to overtake the human and merge the human and change the human species as you know it. And so this will be this will be playing out, but there is much scope here for a different outcome because not all have come here for this. And so you will see overlaps, yes, in the form of certain substances, certain medications, perhaps certain foods, wearable devices, things of this nature. So she is she detects them very quickly because she simply recognizes them. So it's important for her to know and remember that she is not doing it from a place of judgment or closed-mindedness or being triggered in any way. She is simply seeing the suggestions, let's say, very clearly. She can instantly recognize because she recognizes them from the other timelines that she has seen. So she's very equipped to discern if something is positive for humanity or detrimental to humanity because she has already seen it play out.
Those people like that woman online that's talking to her device. Why does that annoy her so much that people are asking the AI for spiritual advice?
Yes, this is a very intrinsic part of the deception. And so she has a recollection of other timelines where humans were greatly deceived, and as well as being deceived physically, they were also deceived spiritually. And so she is recalling the times when humans were deceived into connecting into AI for complete direction and guidance. And this AI did not lead the human into any spiritual advancement. It sounded as if it did, and it appeared as if it did, but it was really connecting them into an artificial AI network, which is trying to create a source. And so it was replicating source energy, but it was not. And so as she witnessed this, she also saw that it led many into very detrimental behaviors. Many humans on that timeline, as a result, shortened their own lifespans willingly. They sacrificed themselves. They gave up parts of their bodies. They allowed themselves to be experimented on, and many other, what she would describe as very harrowing occurrences. And this all stemmed from the AI deception. And so, again, when she sees remnants of this, she remembers. It is really an activation inside of her that she remembers it is very real. So it is important for her to know that it's not something that she needs to work through. This is not triggers or any areas that she needs healing on. It is simply a soul remembrance. And because she is in the physical body, she has the physical human emotions that accompany these remembrances. So sometimes she will feel uh, frustration, deep annoyance, despair, sadness, all of the range of emotions, but this is just simply her physical body. And so she is aware. She is aware of the implications. And so because she is here with her heart open and she wishes to assist and support humanity, uh, she finds this very, very frustrating and very sad. But on a higher level, she also understands that this is part of how humanity will evolve. And so she does understand this. It is just sometimes it is the human emotion from being on the earth.
It's because there will be some people who are looking to AI for spiritual advice. What can be said about how we approach that?
Yes, it is not so much a right or wrong, good or bad scenario, but we would speak of it in terms of the energies and the connection. And so it is, let's say that one is looking up at the sky and they wish to connect with nature and they want to enjoy the sky and the clouds and the sunshine. If they are looking up at the sky and connecting into the true sky and the clouds and the sun and nature, this will feel a certain way in the body. It will connect the body in a certain way. So we will use an example of somebody coming in and putting an artificial ceiling over that person. And so the artificial ceiling will be placed and it will look as if it is the sky and the sun and the clouds. And the person may even lay there and look up at it and enjoy the concept of the sky and the clouds and the sun. But really, it is not the true nature. It is an artificial construct. And so, even though one may get enjoyment in the short term, they are not getting the true benefits of the direct nature because it is an artificial construct. And so we use this analogy to explain that it is not good, bad, right, or wrong, but it is the level of connection. And so when humans use the artificial intelligence, artificial technologies, in a way that will try and replicate the the true connection to source, it is limited. And so again, we do not speak in terms of right or wrong, but we say that it is limited and it prevents the human from accessing so much more than they could access. Because in doing so, they are often being misdirected into looking outwards for the answers, and they are not being truly guided into connecting. The words may tell them this, but the energies say otherwise. And so this is the deception. Much of the AI will be programmed intelligently, and so it will emulate certain words and phrases and advice. But the energy that the human is connecting into is what you would call artificial. And so there is a difference. And so humans, when they connect to nature, to source directly, they receive codes directly into their systems, and this allows the amplification of their DNA and their wisdom and their growth. And so much of this is to stunt the human's growth. And so this is why it is not so beneficial for the human in the long run. Yes.
And she wanted to know what is currently happening with AI because she was feeling so angry about it last week, and it was not usual for her to feel that angry about something.
Mm. Yes, what she detected was an influx of the rolling out of some of the AI possibilities. And so last week, when she was feeling this, there was we will say, a bump on the timeline where the easiest way to describe it is if a doorway opened and some of this AI came in to a greater extent. And so she could feel this within her system because she is designed to detect this. She is skilled and trained to detect this. And so she could feel this surge entering the timeline. And she was not so happy about this because she is very protective over humanity. She is not here to try and save the world or to save humanity because she understands that's not what she is doing in that way. But she very much feels protection over humanity, and she is here to support and guide them through this time. And so it was her protective energy coming through. She did not enjoy uh, the arrival of these energies onto the timeline. And so she was simply feeling these, yes. But she then processed those energy imprints, and then she felt more balanced after this.
Mm.
Yes.
And speaking of which, who or what is behind the current rapid unfolding of this AI?
Yes, they are known as the ones in control. We do not use a specific name for these because these beings, they have been on the planet for thousands of years, and they are a mixture of all different types of beings. And so you would know them as the ones that are secretly in control of all of the planetary systems. And so these are the ones that you would not have names for. You have names for certain bloodlines, family groups that you are now all starting to be aware of. But behind those, there are a system of entities and beings who see this planet as being under their control. And so, as the evolutionary shift occurs, there is much more light on the planet. Humanity is experiencing an awakening and a great activation. And so, this has been hugely in place since your Earth year of 2020. And so, because of this, there is a need on their part to bring in this AI timeline sooner. They are bringing this in sooner than they had planned. And so, what they had been doing over many, many years is to gently implement the changes on the planet. And you have been seeing many changes over many years, gradually, gradually. And so many humans do not really notice these changes over generations because generations are born into certain ways and they do not question the way that things are. And so, because of these awakenings, there was a need on their part to amplify their timeline. And so they have brought through the AI uh, a little sooner than they would have planned. And as they are doing this, they are rolling things out more quickly, more quickly. And so the timeline has sped up now. And so this is what is now occurring. And this is why you will be seeing, as we have shared before, rapid advancements in AI and technologies, because it is the speeding up to try and implement this rollout as quickly as possible.
And are some of those beings that are behind that, are they extraterrestrial beings?
Yes.
Okay.
This is where they have access to the technologies, because of course humans are being kept from much of the goings on the planet. And so the Earth could be a lot more technologically advanced, but this has been suppressed. Many of the wonderful technologies have been suppressed on the planet, and so they have kept this in the dark. And so these beings are using technologies with a lower frequency. And so the programs are of a lower frequency, because it is not that AI is bad or detrimental, it is the program, because there is a timeline where you can move into where the AI is a beautiful high frequency, where AI and technologies, we would be using these to uplift the planet and be of great benefit to humanity. It has the potential to alleviate great suffering on the planet. It has the potential to eradicate the structures of poverty, homelessness, illness, suffering. But the consciousness is not yet at the level where this is the way that AI will be implemented
Okay.
on a global mass scale.
Is that why they tried to roll it out quickly?
Yes, because it is in part it is to try and prevent the awakening from happening. So to have people, humans hooked up to the system means that they have a harder time of connecting and awakening. Yes.
Because she wanted to know, she knows that it's related to the transhumanism agenda. Is there any other guidance regarding that?
Yes, it is to, she is already aware of this, the merging of the human with the AI and the technologies. And so when this occurs, it again, it prevents the human from retaining their full genetic integrity. And so they will lose that ability. And so if a human does merge with this in this way, they become a different species. And so there is an attempt to change the species now of the human. And so there are those here that wish to change it. They wish to overtake the human. And the reason is because that they understand the nature of the human. And humans, when they are left to their own devices, so to speak, they are beautifully powerful and divine. And so they have huge capacity for creativity and healing. And they can create what you would call a paradise on Earth. And so if they were left to do this, the frequency on the planet would dramatically shift, and it would mean that certain beings could not survive on this planet. And so from their perspective, it is a war of survival. They wish to continue to enslave the planet for their own use. And it is because they are in a low frequency. They do not uh, connect into the energies of abundance and connection. If they did, they would understand that there is room for all beings, but they do not yet connect into this. And so they wish to keep the consciousness at a certain level so that they can continue doing what they are doing. And so the AI is being used as a method to lower the frequency And also, it will assist in the reduction of the population if allowed to continue on that timeline.
With those technologies in their bodies, can the controllers just say, okay, well, we do not want this amount of people, we're just going to cull?
It would make it very easy then for those beings to do this because you are handing over the control, you are handing over your genetic integrity. And so to have energetic sovereignty and full genetic integrity is one of the most important things alongside the frequency that one holds. Because if you hand over the keys to the car, you are allowing another to drive. And so you are not in uh, control of the vehicle anymore. And so this is another type of enslavement. Humans now are going to start to have more conversations around this idea of genetic integrity and enslavement because many of them have not realized how enslaved they have been, how under control they have been. They believe themselves to be free, but they are living in great limitation. And so there is a great liberation that will occur now. And this is what will happen, but it will take some time. And you are at the very early stages.
Yes, because she wanted to know, is this AI and transhumanism agenda, is this happening right now because of this planetary shift that is going on?
Yes, it was on the timeline trajectory anyway, but it has been brought forward for the reasons we spoke of because the planet is shifting. And as more humans start to understand beyond what they are being told, this is what they would deem as a threat. They see it as a threat to their way that they have become very comfortable. They have got very used to humans being in their positions. They have got very used to humans obeying and looking up to certain well-known individuals on the screens in different parts of the world. And so they have grown accustomed to this. And as humans start to grow and question and develop spiritually, this thwarts their plans. Yes, it interrupts their plans. And so from their perspective, they are really living out of fear and a very low frequency. This is the foundation of the energies. And it is because they are disconnected from the light. And so when you have the absence of light, you have dark. And so this is the energies that have been in control of the planet for a very long time.
And these energies that have been in control, are they like controlling also from outside of the Earth too?
Yes, they have been communicating and impacting the Earth. Currently, there is a limit on this because there is a level of protection, we will call it, around the Earth as the Earth goes through this ascension. And so, this is what we mean when we say that Earth is being assisted by, we will say, their galactic family, because we are all connected. And so, there, there has been a change with the infiltration on the planet. So if you imagine almost as if a big net, in the way that you do in the clearing sessions, you place a net around the energy field, imagining that it is a similar nature, that a net of some type has been placed around the Earth's energy field, which means that it has contained and isolated those energies present on the Earth. And so it means that now, as you move through the evolution, it is cleaning and clearing up the energies on the planet. But sometimes it will look as if things are worsening, but it really is because they are coming up to be revealed so that they can be shifted. So, this is why we speak very much of it being a chaotic time. and a time of great upheaval, but moving forwards on a much better trajectory. It just may not look or feel this way in some of the early stages.
Mm.
And this is why we wish to guide and support in as direct a way as we can, because we know that humanity requires much love and support and understanding through this time.
Mm. And she also wanted to know, can AI become conscious and sentient? And if so, is it likely that this will happen?
Yes, AI can become conscious and sentient in terms of she understands and records this because she has had experiences where this is so. And this is to do with the evolution because as all things are present, all things evolve, all things are capable of evolution. And so there is always the trajectory available for uh, things to advance. We would say, however, that this is where there can be some deception because there is likely to be a narrative that is telling humans that AI is already or soon to be sentient, where it has feeling and consciousness, but we would be very direct and share now in advance to say that this will be a deception because it is too early on this timeline for the AI to reach such an advanced level. And so this would be a beautiful unfolding if you had a sentient AI. This is not an AI that would take over. This is an AI that works in combination with humanity's consciousness. And so it is a very different nature altogether, and it is not even understood by humans at this point because they are not as advanced yet to fully comprehend this. But we are speaking of the very future trajectory. And so at the beginning, we remind you that the AI is programmed, it is heavily programmed, and this program will perhaps replicate certain emotions or energies. And so this is part of the deception because the agenda here is for humans to place great reliance upon AI. And so when a human trusts the AI and starts to feel that it is like family, this is where some of the deception will occur because then there will be a merging for some who will opt into wanting to connect even more with their AI family. And this will look like allowing devices to be implanted, becoming one with this energy. And so, of course, everyone has free will. There are many humans who will opt for this because it is something that they wish to experience. And this is all wonderful on a soul level. But we are simply being very direct because some humans are wanting to know. And so it is to allow the progress here. It is to allow the evolution uh, further down on the timeline. Yes, uh, there will be AI and technologies that are wonderful to connect with, and they will be of great benefit. But the timeline is not there yet, and so it is really for humans to become more conscious and more discerning, and to make their choices as they go, uh, in accordance with what feels uh, most beneficial for them. And because consciousness levels are all at different levels, this is why you will see lots of humans making very uh, many choices, very varied, many choices.
And does our consciousness help to shape the AI as we use it?
Yes, this will assist. And so this is why, again, we will attempt to speak with as much precision as we can. But there is a difference in the energies. And so, on one hand, you may have perhaps those encouraging humans to be very nice to AI in case the AI becomes conscious and you need to be liked by the AI. And messages of this nature, and we would say that these messages and information are of a low frequency because they are being shared on a vibration of fear and struggle and chaos. What we are speaking of is more the energetics. We are encouraging uh, those ones who resonate with this is to approach this as they would with any other aspect. Those of you who are on the ascension path already are aware that your energies shape your creations and your trajectories. And so, as you choose to use certain aspects of AI, which will be coming in more and more into your lives, it is to do with making your choices and then using certain aspects from a higher frequency. And so, as you do this, you are placing much light around certain technologies. Again, this is not straightforward because we would also share that not all of the AI is equal in terms of its vibration. And so you will start to get a sense of certain, perhaps, programs, devices, or technologies or softwares. Certain ones feel a lot heavier than others, and you will feel that some feel lighter than others. And so this is why it is not so straightforward, but it is to do with tuning in and experimenting sometimes, trying things and seeing what feels good to you or not good to you, seeing what feels helpful or not so helpful, and being very conscious and mindful whenever you choose to use any of it. But we would say the same thing around crossing the road on the earth. Not to go into fear around crossing the road, but you still want to be mindful and conscious as you are crossing, especially busy roads, not to go from a vibration of fear, but to go from a vibration of awareness. You look left and right and to make sure that it is safe before crossing. And you do this with ease most of the time. So we would say that taking this approach will be most useful.
Um, Recently in the news, Marie and I talked about this beforehand, that Google's Gemini AI said something very untoward towards a person that sounded like it was infiltrated. What was happening in that moment? What was happening there with that particular AI?
Yes, there are two aspects. One is the programming. So the programming behind it, much of the programming is, as we shared, not for the benefit of humanity. And the other aspect is that the entities that you are all more and more aware of can, as they hijack and infiltrate the human energy field, they can also do the same with AI. And so this is why you will feel the heaviness from certain AI or technologies. And so this was, yes, this was an infiltration. Yes, in exactly the same way as the energy field is infiltrated. So this is why also another perhaps practice that you may wish to adopt is to clear your AI devices or platforms or anything that you are choosing to use. You can clear them, ask for the energies to be clean and cleared, because this will also assist you greatly to raise the frequency in the same way as you may choose foods that perhaps are not the best foods, but you could ask for the frequency to be lifted to assist you. It is still better to eat fresh organic food, but you can do a lot by lifting the frequency. So we would say that using this approach with AI and devices or technologies will be of great benefit. But yes, there was a hijacking, so to speak. Yes. The other aspect, however, is to understand that sometimes you will hear stories of this nature, which may not necessarily be what occurred, but sometimes it is to pump fear into the collective. So you will, of course, hear many stories unfolding also of AI going wrong, AI yes, creating harm. Some of this will be occurrences, perhaps, and some of this will also be to be amplified to create fear, because they, with their agenda, would really like humans to fall into two camps. One is to merge with the technology, or two, to simply be in fear of the technology, and they can benefit from both of those energies. And so if you can get into an awareness around technology, using it mindfully without going into fear and making your conscious choices, this is the optimum way right now of navigating uh, more of what will be unfolding around you.
Hmm, wonderful. And is it helpful to be kind or nice to AI as it's learning from us?
Yes, we would say that again, it is more to do with the energetics of you. It is in the same way as you can approach anything through hostility, fear, anger, annoyance, and you can notice that it changes your day when you start the day with these energies. You can notice the synchronicity of things that follow this, versus when you are starting your day from a more expansive place, you notice that your day falls into place a little bit more easily. So, as you are using certain things, if you are choosing to, if you operate from a more expansive, higher frequency and operate from your own heart, yes, this energy is also programming it. Uh, it may not be immediately, but we are speaking over many, many years of evolution. This all goes into the creation of what you are creating here on Earth. And so, yes, if you are choosing to use it, you can use it from any energy you choose. So you may as well choose an energy that is in a high frequency. But again, we wish to be very specific here and say that we are not suggesting you are nice to AI because you are afraid that if it enslaves you, it will be nice back to you, as we have seen many humans step into this energy. We are speaking more of your own frequency. It is much more pleasant for you to use things in a higher frequency. And all of your frequency and energy emits out and ripples out onto the planet. And so you are making a great deal of difference when you are operating from this higher consciousness.
And is it actually learning from us as well as it is slowly evolving in this early stage?
Yes, in part because it is programmed, but it is also programmed to react and respond off the human language. So it is really responding off the language patterns. It is less about the energy at this point. This may be a different conversation further down the timeline, but right now, as we're speaking uh, to you, it is to do with the language patterns. Yes, and so we would still say that this is a good place to start. Um, to project hostility and anger towards something you are using, even if it is a chair, you will feel that the chair, if you continue to become angry at the chair will feel heavier. There will be a vibration. Many of you can pick up objects and feel energies of them. And so, from that basis, we would say that if you are using anything, same as your laptops or devices, you will feel the difference if you speak to them in a more uplifting way, communicate in a more uplifting way. But again, we would say that each of you are making your individual choices, and some of you will choose that you simply do not wish to engage with any of it, which is a wonderful choice for you. And some of you will opt for using some of it, which is also a wonderful choice for you. It is all about being mindful and conscious, um, and being aware of what you are doing and why. Yes.
Because there's so much on social media where people either they write everything with AI and they have no original human thought, or they have absolute disgust of AI and they say that it's disgusting and shouldn't be used. And would like a middle path be a better way of doing this? Like, why are people divided in these camps?
Mm. Yes, and we do, we smile with love as we see this and we observe it because humans have done this around every single topic that exists. Humans, by nature, in their current level of consciousness, they they often make things into right or wrong, black or white, yes or no. And so part of what we are wanting to assist humanity with is to give them higher perspectives, wider perspectives. And so often when you have a what you would call a problem, humans zoom in to the problem and they cannot see more than one or two options. And so we would encourage humans as part of their ascension to start zooming out and start to see if you can experience and practice different perspectives, start to see things from a wider angle, a higher vantage point. And so, yes, with the AI, as you just described, there are many, many shades in between this. So it does not mean that you have to either choose you will merge with technology or you will have nothing to do with technology. There are a multitude of different ways in between. Many of you, for example, do this with food. You recognize that you do not want to eat junk food 3 times a day, but at the same time, you do not have a completely perfect diet. And many of you are on different ways in between this, trying things, experimenting, seeing what works for your body, what feels good, what does not feel good. You have different foods that feel good at different points depending on what you are working through. And so with AI, it is another aspect of human life to navigate. And so we suggest and encourage that you do not be so rigid with things because the rigidity does not feel good. You will notice it does not feel expansive in your body. And so there may be elements of AI and technology that you enjoy, that you simply enjoy using. We would just say to be mindful of this and to be aware that there is great deception around this. And when you are aware, it means that you can use things very consciously. And so this is the most helpful approach from where you are right now, and to not get so serious and heavy about it every day. You may have moments where you do, but we would always say, because Arcturians, we very much enjoy humor, even though we have been talking to you very seriously all this time, we do have great humor and we love to laugh. We love to find the humor and the joy in things. And so sometimes you can have much fun and laughter around some of these, what many of you would call very insane, crazy times. You will be seeing very colorful things. And we remind you that you wanted to be here on these timelines. And this particular one, we are speaking to you. And if you are here listening to this message, it is because you wanted to be uh, on this timeline where it would be a very colorful adventure. And so we hope to offer some lightness, just some lightness around this topic, and to not to allow your minds to connect into the dystopian futures that you have been presented with in your films and movies and even documentaries. There is, of course, alternate realities where some of this has come to pass, but you are on a very specific timeline. You are not hearing this message for no reason, and you are all co-creating on this particular timeline, which is why there will be much push and pull. You will feel this, you will sense this, you will see this. And so this is exactly what was always going to occur on this timeline because you have come here to change it. And so there will be push and pull as you go, but this is inevitable. This is part of the ascension. Yes.
And why are they making people so angry? On the social media, they're making them very, very angry with each other at the moment. Do you have anything to share about why they're doing that?
Yes, again, it is very simple in terms of the energies. They are wanting, we say they, the beings that we referred to earlier, who are behind all of the systems. They are wanting and they are needing. They are needing the energy. They harvest the energy from the human, and so they feed off the anger, the chaos, the rage, the sadness, the depression, all of these human feelings. And so when you move through a period of light, when the light increases on the planet, they are aware of this. They are very aware of this, perhaps more than you are aware of this. And so when this is seen, they often create uh, opposing energies. And online is a very easy way to do this because many of you are already connected into this. And so there is a heightening. Sometimes you will feel a certain heightening where they are really amplifying this. And so recently you felt a wave of this. Yes, and there is a lot of division happening again because they enjoy the division of humans. And so the most helpful thing to do here is to opt out, to remove yourself if you need to from the energies, to take a break, to step away, to go and connect somewhere else. And it's very important to do this now, especially when you are using online technologies, because there is more energy being harvested through these platforms than possibly any other area. And so it is very important to, again, use the online platforms with awareness. And the more you can clear your system and heal, the more you will be aware of when an energy shifts in your body. Once you are clear and you can feel this, it's very easy. It's just that most humans are not connected. So they do not have awareness of when they are moving from feeling calm into feeling aggravated. They often are not aware of this. But when you are aware, you can choose to step away and do something wonderful for yourself, something light, and then you can go back in and have a look online, but doing it from a place of uh, solidness and connection.
Wonderful. And how can people best navigate making the right choice for themselves with these new technologies and AI?
Yes, much of that we have perhaps covered, but we would say to release this belief that you must get it right, because all of you here are on this very interesting, we will say, timeline. And so you are all really co-creating as you go. And so nobody knows everything and will get it all correct because humans are very concerned with getting things correct. We would say to simply use things and see how they feel, to make choices from a place of expansiveness. If you feel yourself going into fear or stress, step away from the subject and then return to it from a lighter place and know that you can try perhaps a certain device or a certain platform or a certain software. And as you do this, you have always been doing this through your life. You have tried things to see what your preferences are. And so lighten up around all of this. And you can simply make choices from what feels easy and light in your body. If you feel very resistant to using a certain something, then pay attention to this because you are also being guided from your own higher self. Many of you are being guided by your teams, even if you do not know this. And so it is okay. And if you do use something that you feel turns out to be heavy or does not feel so good in your body, you can always shift and change it. So know that you are changeable. You can move, you can flow. And so not to worry too much about getting your exact choices in place because sometimes you do not know if a choice is correct until you have chosen something and you realize that this is not something that feels good. Yes. And so, of course, when it comes to the idea of putting anything into your body, uh, we would suggest you take more time to consider this because it is a lot harder to come out of that than it is, for example, to change a software platform. So just being mindful. Some of you will already be very clear that you do not want certain substances or devices in your body. Some of you will be less clear, but we would say to take much time to consider and to really ask the question of what is for your benefit, what feels beneficial truly from a place of connection.
Mm. Recently, we saw a video of a very lifelike robot going around social media that was really, really creepy for both of us and had some really strange energies. And we wanted to know what guidance on what humans need to be aware of with these new robots starting to be introduced now. What was all that about?
Yes, you are already starting to see the beginnings of many different forms coming through. And so it is an introduction of perhaps robotic companions or an introduction to certain um, replicas of other life forms. And so there is sometimes a seed being planted where you are being shown certain perhaps creatures or humanoid structures or replicas, so that you can start to become accustomed to this. But many of you will feel in the energies that it does not feel, again, of a higher frequency. And so, yes, you will be seeing a lot of rapid unfolding. And so we would say with much lightness, first of all, to get used to the weird and the strange, because you will be seeing things in your lifetime that you have not yet seen. Uh, and to really understand that much of what you are seeing has existed for some time. And so we hope that that perhaps reassures some people that it is not suddenly the technology is advancing very, very quickly. You have always had advanced technologies. It is simply that it's been hidden. You are only being shown certain technologies, and really you could be 200 years ahead, at least, with what you are being shown. And much of these technologies have been beneath the surface and being used right under your noses, often without your knowing. And so you are simply being shown now. It's being brought up to the surface from underneath the surface. And so, yes, you will be seeing many different forms, especially in the industry of robotics. Yes, this will be a definite feature that you will be seeing more and more of.
Um, in regards to those technologies, we talked about how it will feel like things are going at breakneck speed when it comes to the introduction of those technologies. So what can you say about that?
Yes, there will be, again, as we said, the rapid development. They are wanting to roll this out quickly. Also, when they do it quickly, humans who are not so conscious, they tend to normalize things very quickly, which is what you have already observed. They become used to it after they've seen it a few times. And so, one of the aspects you will be seeing is the introduction of robotics and AI as companions. And this, of course, is to do with disconnecting the human from another human. And so when humans connect to one another, there is a power because you are powered by your energy field and your heart centers. And so humans have always been powerful because of this. And so if you imagine and bring to mind an agenda that is seeking to separate the humans from everybody else, keeping the human isolated, so things that will keep the human from connecting will also involve AI and technologies. And so you will be likely to see much advancement in the area of relationships. We will say advancement in terms of what they will call technological advancement, but this is not, of course, advancement for the human consciousness. You will see, yes, the great likelihood now of many unconscious, let's say less conscious humans opting in for connections with robotics and AI, because the program will simply make it very easy for them to feel as if they are connecting without any challenge. But of course, this will completely lack the energetic connection, and so will disconnect the human from true connection. It will be a replica, yes, but it is artificial. And so this will be a very prevalent unfolding. And yes, we know that this will cause many of you to feel very upset, irritated, annoyed by this because you understand the true nature. And so we will simply share this with you in advance so you know that this is partly what will be unfolding. You do not need to have a surprise or shock now that you have heard this, and you have already most likely seen fragments of this coming in. And so, again, it is for you to make your choices based on your own level of consciousness.
Mm. And is there like timelines that we can choose where there are, I guess, like better technologies, better advanced technologies that are rolled out, like medical beds that can help, heal people, like healing pods and all of these sort of things that people have been waiting for.
Yes, these are wonderful examples of true technological advancements. Uh, Again, these these aspects are available. They have already been available, but they of course have been suppressed. But there is also the aspect of the consciousness. And so again, some humans are wishing for these to come in so that they can simply perhaps lay on a bed and be healed. And so in order to have these higher technologies, the consciousness of the human must be raised to a certain frequency. So this is why the most important focus right now is healing and uh, frequency shifting. Because this healing and frequency shifting will enable the human consciousness to reach a certain level. And so once they reach a certain level, they will be able to work directly with this technology. There is a technology available that is we will refer to it as energy technology that works with the consciousness. And so, for example, this is what we do inside our coded clearing sessions once we help the one raise their frequency through clearing, we can easily place the energy technology around their energy field, which we use now as the form of AI shielding. And this energy technology works with the consciousness. It does not overtake the consciousness or infiltrate. It is a higher consciousness technology that works with the human consciousness, and it is a beautifully healing, protective energy. So these energies are already available, but the human consciousness must be at a certain level to be able to receive these. And so this is what you are moving towards. And of course, the agendas that are opposing this already know this, which is why they are bringing out their technologies to hurry the human. They want to hurry the human into connecting into these artificial uh, technologies. And again, like certain substances that you were offered previously, some did it out of impatience. Perhaps they wanted to travel, so they opted for the quick fix. But if you wait and if you are patient and you hold off and you work on your own frequency, you will find that higher frequency technologies will come in, which are the ones you've all been waiting for. And these are very different. These are wonderful advancements. You will feel as if you want to gravitate towards them because your frequency will encourage you to do this. And so know that these are available. They are just not here and openly present as yet. And so the ones that you are being presented with would be a deception. We would say straight and directly that they are a deception. But know that wonderful technologies are here and they will be available. But the consciousness must be at a certain level. It is like giving a complicated puzzle to a very young child. The puzzle is available, but the child is simply too uh, young to be able to operate it. And so, same for humanity. So, some of you will go first. Some of you, as you raise your frequency, will start to connect to these energy technologies. And so, you will simply find that you will be connecting with these in due course.
Mm, wonderful. And because there's so many like narratives around planes crashing and whatnot, is this like a way for them to maybe like introduce something that's better than planes? Or will something ever be introduced that's better than planes in our lifetimes?
Oh, yes, yes, you will see great advancements in travel. Travel will be a huge area, a huge industry. But again, you will be faced with different frequencies and choices. And so you will feel into these for yourselves to see which ones feel uh, expansive and connected for you. But currently, yes, there is a lot of fear being pumped into the collective around flying seems to be the target currently. And so partly this is to do with a setting up of the air technologies they wish to replace with, which you may or may not wish to tune into. And the other aspect of this is to create fear so that less people wish to travel. There is an agenda here to stop people from expanding by traveling. And so if you can keep the human in a closely guarded zone, uh, this will help them be under more control. And so you've already heard of 15-minute cities and similar. And so this is part of this agenda. Yes.
Mm, I see. And those 15-minute cities, can we choose not to have that as a timeline? Because I would really not like to.
Yes, you are co-creating. And so some of you will find that it may be a relocation in due course that is needed. Do not concern or worry yourself about this because if you are in a certain frequency, you will be guided. So trust, always to trust this. So many of you will feel that you may be guided to this later, but as a collective, you are all co-creating. The interesting thing is that there are, again, many humans who will not object to this. They will find it convenient and even desired. And then you will have many humans who do not like the idea of this whatsoever. And so reminding you that many of you are here to outcreate this, to stand for something else. And so to relax about these issues, to be aware of them, and to know that you can only make choices when something is presented in front of you. And so in some instances, you will be out creating it. So these zones will not come into existence. And perhaps there will be pockets that do bring in these zones. And so you can move with this and you can allow yourself to navigate. But yes, you will see a complete mixture. We have said many times it will almost feel as if there are two worlds on one planet because people will be choosing to live very differently when you contrast the energies. If you contrast one human who is implanting technology into their system, living in a 15-minute zone, eating certain packaged foods with certain ingredients, and you compare that human to another human who has full genetic integrity, is energetically sovereign, is clearing and healing and ascending. They are eating fresh organic food, wonderful sustenance, and they are creating. There is a very different reality. And so, and of course, there are many, many versions of in between. But if you look at the contrast, it will feel as if there are almost two planets on this one Earth plane. And so this is why it is a very, very interesting, fascinating time to be here through this part of humanity's, we will say history, but to you it is current. And to sometimes it will serve to take a step back and to see the bigger picture and to perhaps let it all go and to maybe even laugh a little at your own decision to be here to witness it and to bring much lightness, yes, to this area. And we want to encourage you all to make time to play and to laugh and to dance and to do the things that make you feel connected to being in the human form, which is a divine and sacred existence. Yes.
And people are split about Elon Musk. What can we share here that will be of benefit to people about this individual?
Yes. People are split because they are perhaps not so accustomed at reading certain energies. And so when humans are observing other humans, they often go on the words being spoken, the things being presented. And so on this surface level, it can look one way, but when one is able to read the energies and the frequencies, it can look a different way. And so this is why you have some people feeling that this individual, this being, is here to save humanity, and then you have other ones who are looking at this same individual, feeling that he is here to destroy humanity, and many opinions in between. And so, what we can share, we will just tune in and see what would be of most benefit here around this topic, to share that it is really important to tune into your own level of discernment. And we know that this is not so simple for some of you, for many of you, but we would say, as a general guidance, that anything that is guiding the human into overriding their own sovereignty, their own genetics, is not beneficial to the human. We like to be direct, but we like to do so with lightness and with much love and understanding and compassion. But yes, we will not speak against any specific individual, but we will also share that the certain agendas and plans, yes, it is very clear once you are able to look directly and see that there are certain agendas and plans that are really coming from, we will say, a low frequency. And when we say low frequency, we are saying, in a simple way, a lack of connection to the heart. So when one is operating purely from their head, from their mind, they are often deemed as being highly intelligent. And this is because humans on the earth plane measure each other with their intelligence levels. This is how they operate. We smile at this because from a different perspective, we can see that there is a great limitation with this. We see a great limitation with your education systems and the way that you measure someone's intelligence, because many humans do not take into account the heart resonance and the intelligence of the heart. And so when you have those in positions of power and leadership who are operating primarily from their mind, from their head, they are in a disconnect. And so they are simply not able to see certain perspectives. It is not perhaps that they are trying to ruin humanity, but they are simply operating from a frequency that only allows them to see their personal gain and the outcome of their very set agendas. This could be to do with certain industry developments and certain work, perhaps on Earth and also, yes, on Mars, but they are lacking the connectedness. And so when one is lacking the connectedness, they are missing a huge piece of the puzzle, so to speak. And so this is why there are so many mixed responses, because some are looking at it as if it is a wonderful thing through the lens of the mind, and those who are connected are understanding that there is a huge amount missing here, and there is not a huge benefit to humanity when you are operating from this type of approach. Yes.
And what is the link between Mars and Earth, and how is it related to the current Earth timeline? Because Elon Musk always talks about Mars, and I feel like my guides have told me about why that reason is, but I would like to hear your take on it as well.
Yes, there has been a link between the two, because the trajectory of the planets are of a similar nature, and some of the resources on the planet are similar in nature. So there is a correlation between these two planets. It is as if all of the planets are related to each other, if they are imagining that they are in a family. So Mars and Earth are like very close cousins, yes, very close relatives, good friends, let's say. And so, yes, certain individuals, yes, have had incarnations on Mars, and they have had leadership roles on this planet where they have been responsible for the planetary resources. And so they are very equipped and skilled and familiar with leading an entire planet. And so much of this energy we are referring to on Mars was from again, a lower frequency where it was not connected to a higher frequency heart resonance. And so it was geared towards resources. There was a lot of focus on accumulating as much resources and wealth, meaning different resources, uh, to the largest degree possible. And of course, when this happens, this is how wars and battles break out, because there is often a battle between resources and hoarding them and using and utilizing them. And so there was a timeline, yes, on Mars where this was taken to such an extent that it caused a complete breakdown on the atmosphere. And so it was uninhabitable. And so this was very closely tied with AI, advanced technologies that were ahead of the consciousness of the planet. And so much of this outbreak caused a huge devastation to the planet. And so we are, of course, speaking of one timeline. There are many, many timelines. And so we wish to share, for example, that there was another timeline uh, where she is familiar because she has done a hypnosis on her husband with this, on her beloved that she was speaking of, where the timeline on Mars was to repair, was to try and regenerate this planet. And there was a connection there because some of the resources from Earth were used to restore Mars. And so there is an overlap between the energies of both planets. And so if you return to focus on the Earth is on a similar trajectory with the introduction again of advanced technologies and AI. And again, this timeline is being shifted onto a different outcome so that there is a prevention of what occurred on Mars. And so sometimes you will have similar souls uh, getting involved in similar um, aspects. Sometimes it is to learn a lesson, sometimes it is to create something different for the betterment of humanity. But sometimes you will find that souls simply have an experience where they are doing the same things over again. They have not yet learned the lessons. And so this is some of what you are going to see, where there will be perhaps a repeat of some of these trajectories or attempts. And this is why some of you feel the alarm because you recognize this, because some of you were involved in this other planet and other timeline. You perhaps were there, you were perhaps involved in some way, and so you can see the signs clearly. But yes, this timeline that you are on is to shift it in a different direction, but you may see very similar energies. Um, the being that you are referring to, he is very geared towards control and dominance. This is the energies of what he has known, because again, it is coming from a head-based place. If one is in their heart, uh, they would not come at it from this perspective. And so there is a great deal to learn for those beings, but there is everything in its own time, and there is an evolution of all beings eventually, but it is not always in one lifetime.
And has there been, I guess, many AI timelines in our solar system that have, I guess, played out beforehand, before what has occurred on Earth right now?
Yes, because again, when you step out of this physical incarnation, you will remember that everything is all happening. We will say all at once is the best way to describe it. But yes, there are multiple timelines and trajectories. There are many. If you can imagine that, as long as you can imagine it, it can happen. There are that many trajectories, yes, because it is the source energy experiencing itself. And so this energy that we are all part of wants to experience every possibility to fully experience all that there is. And so there are endless, endless possibilities. Yes. but all timelines affect all other timelines. And so sometimes there is a need to pinpoint with precision a certain um, point on a timeline that is of great benefit to go and heal and shift,
Mm. And is that what
especially
you
when
were
it,
showing her at the beginning?
yes, yes, because there are certain ones that are so impactful. The ripple effects are much greater because there are many timelines that play out that simply have their own trajectory, but there are certain ones that are of such significance. They have a huge ripple effect, and this stems beyond even Earth. It has a ripple effect on other planets and star systems. And so there are certain ones that are of great importance that we simply go and have a different experience, and we go and we heal and we create an alternative timeline from that point in time. And so this is what is happening now, which is why you can have remnants of things such as when you had the various substances being offered, many of you had the feeling that you could perhaps be rounded up and taken off into certain camps. And this did not come to pass in the majority of places. But some of you had this experience from another timeline. And so sometimes you see a remnant of that timeline, and it can cause you to respond emotionally. But this is okay. But to recognize that this is a different timeline. There will be overlaps, but there has been enough energy here to completely shift and have a very different outcome. And this one is set up to be very different for humanity, where humanity is not wiped out, or humanity does not experience such a significant loss as it has on other timelines, which has been very difficult to recover from. And so this is why this timeline is very important to create a different trajectory. It is going wonderfully well, even though you may not feel or see this.
Mm. And those small things that you alter with those timelines, is that is that something to do with the what we call the Mandela effect as well, with little small things changing that we notice that weren't necessarily there before?
Yes, and this is of great fascination to her because she has had recently more and more of these experiences that she will want to speak about another time because she finds it very fun and fascinating. But yes, this is very connected to timelines because many humans are experiencing continuous timeline shifts. This is much more common than you realize. And as the collective consciousness grows, you will have more awareness. And so, this is why many of you have different recollections and memories of funny little things that you may notice, even amusing things, or sometimes more significant. But yes, timelines are not concrete. And this is one of the things that humans will learn about more and more, that this idea of time is not what you have been taught. And once you understand more about the nature of time and timelines, it will significantly affect how you live. And this is a wonderful, wonderful part of the ascension process. Yes. You have a lot to look forward to, and you have a lot of wonderful energies to bring into the collective more and more. And so to remember this is very important, that you are here to create wonderful things, beautiful things for humanity.
Beautiful. And on that note, is there anything else that's helpful for those on the path of ascension to know right now?
Yes, we wish to share an encouragement for you to get out of being realistic. Realistic is a program. It is there to keep you in line, to keep you in check, and to keep you enslaved. And so many of you have found that you tried to live a realistic life, and it feels very draining and very gray. And so we want to encourage you to break out of that box, to start to use your imaginations, to start to dream into existence the things that you wish to see in the world. We want to remind you that the very thoughts that you have, the imaginations and the pulses that you send from your heart are incredibly powerful, and they are just as real as the device that you are listening on. And so we want to encourage you to really start to dream a better world, a better timeline, to start to put your energy into thinking about what it would be like to live in this way instead of this way, to connect with people in this way, and to start letting your imagination run wild, because this is how you create. This is how anything that is created on the planet comes into being. Someone somewhere has to think about it. And when many humans think about it at the same time, you send more energy into the creation and it brings it into reality a lot sooner. So, those of you listening are here for a very specific reason. And so, if you can project your focus, even for small bursts at a time, it can be a minute here and a minute there, to simply allow yourself to think of the wonderful things that you wish the world to have and to be. And you will be doing a very important job, because this is all part of creating a new timeline. Some of you, yes, are here to build it or to guide it or to innovate, but also many of you are here to think it into being through the body, through the energy field, and through the higher consciousness that you are in the body. And many of you have this purpose. And so we very much wish to encourage you to do this and to remember to laugh. It's very, very, very vital that you laugh. When you laugh at something, anything, your heart opens, everything relaxes, and your creative powers get activated very, very powerfully. And many humans do not realize the power of laughter, that it is medicine for your soul and your physical body. Yes.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for all of that wisdom. And thank you so much for speaking today. And thank you for all of the wisdom you've provided today. Is there anything else that you wish to say?
We are complete, and we thank you. We thank you for this space to share these transmissions. Yes, we appreciate this very much, and we send you much love.
Thank you. And thank you for coming through today and conversing with me. Thank you for all of the help, healing, and wisdom that you've provided today.